today's video, we're going to be taking a look at the two main versions that Hasbro's put out in the 3 3/4 inch scale of Cad Bane. On the left here, we have the 2009 version, and on the right hand side, we have the 2011. Now, they also put out a Cad Bane that's in the clone disguise, and one that comes on a speeder bike here, but we're not going to talk about those ones today because these are the two main ones as far as his go-to iconic outfit. So the first one here that came out in 2009, we're going to take a look at him here. Pretty good sculpt. His hat's removable. He has a ball jointed neck, 2 ball jointed shoulders. He's got 2 ball jointed elbows. He moves, his waist moves side to side, and his legs do this. He has no knee or ankle articulation, however. One feature he has that I really like on figures is he has working holsters. He also came with a nice little rifle, gives him some good display ability. And his hat, obviously a key feature, is kind of keyed. If you see in there, there's the 2 sides, the high and the low. The lower end will go in the front, and the dimple here on his head, so it kind of keys in. So don't put his hat on backwards. Very cool figure. Very good paint apps. Very good accessories. Overall, a great figure. Now, the no articulation below the waist, kind of besides the side to side and the leg swivel, that kind of stinks. So as you're going to see, Hasbro came out and tried to make a much better version here in 2011. So the 2011 version here is much larger, as you're going to see here side by side. Much bigger figure, much more articulation, and has 12 different points of articulation. Again, the hat is removable. This time, however, like the last hat had the highs and the lows, this one has these 2 little indents right here, and those key in with his eyebrows, so you don't put his hat on backwards. It goes right there. Doesn't cover up his face. It's going to have the ball jointed shoulders again, ball jointed elbows, the wrist swivel, which is a big upgrade from the last one. Again here, we have the waist, we have the legs. This time we have knee articulation. He can bend his knees, kick it. However, we don't have ankle articulation. That's about the only thing that's really missing that it could use. He didn't come with a rifle this time. However, he came with his little satchel, and perhaps the coolest accessory they could have put with Cad Bane. He came with Todo 360. Now, Todo 360 here, he has the swivel head, and that is it. Here's the detail here on the side of his head, not on the other. If you look up in here, they place the copyright and date stamps right up into there. But he's still a great figure, and I'm glad they had him come out. Now, these are both great figures. However, one big problem with them here is the 2011 version, way out of scale height-wise, like problematically out of scale. So Cad Bane's supposed to be 6'1", so let's put him up here. First off, we'll take a Clone Wars clone. This is a Clone Wars line, so we'll see how they hold up. Alright, so pretty much the same scale as the first version they came out with. Armor would probably add a little bit of height to the Clone Troopers, so I'm going to go ahead and say pretty much right on. Now let's go to the 2011 one. Holy cow. He is so much bigger than the Clone Trooper in full armor, and he's only supposed to be 1 inch taller than them out of armor. I mean, he's way big. If we go to the non-animated size, huge. This one's still bigger because of the way the regular size is scaled compared to the Clone Wars line. But as you can see, not in the greatest of scales. Now, with that larger scale though, they did upsize his guns. Alright, so the bottom one here is 2011, and the top one is the first release. The first release just seems a little bit small to me, doesn't quite go with the figure. However, this bigger version, I think, was a good improvement. The hats, Cad Bane's very iconic hat, we'll take a look at here. Also got bigger, and I do like the bigger hat. Nothing wrong with the older hat, I just think that Cad Bane's hat being bigger is almost always better. Another interesting detail with the 2011 version is the face sculpt. The face sculpt on the first release, I think, is much more accurate to the cartoon than the new one. I think that's just an interesting choice they went with here. It obviously kind of looks more realistic than it does Clone Wars related, which is kind of a weird take. I also really like this pleather cloth goods back cape here. That little back plate is compared to the hard plastic. The molded on bag here compared to the, extra bag that you take on and off. I do think that this wrist articulation is a big, nice addition. Hopefully here soon we get another great version of Cad Bane in the Vintage Collection. But until then, make sure to check out this other figure comparison and review I have right here. Have a great day, and may the Force be with you.